The new wave of games announced for 2025 and 2026 is absolutely insane. These projects mix boldness, cutting-edge technology, and worlds full of personality. Many focus on cinematic narratives, challenging combat, and settings that feel like they've come out of a dream or a nightmare. There's RPG, action, sci-fi, and fantasy, all with the potential to define a generation. And the best part? Each title on this list promises something unique. Get ready, because what's coming will be unforgettable. I'm Jax, and if you're new here, welcome to the Play Hunters channel. I bring you daily content, so you won't miss any details of the gaming universe. If you can, please subscribe to help me grow. I'd really appreciate it from one gamer to another. In first place, the Blood of Dawnwalker promises to take action RPGs to a new dark and visceral level. Developed in Unreal Engine 5 by Rebel Wolves, studio founded by industry heavyweights. The game will take place in an alternate 14th century where powerful vampires have replaced feudal lords. In this broken world, you'll play as Cohen, a figure torn between day and night, between what remains of humanity and the powers of a Dawnwalker. The proposal is bold. In 30 days and nights, you'll decide the fate of your family and the direction of your soul. You'll be able to create your own story in a narrative sandbox that adapts to your choices, where each decision carries real weight. The day and night cycle will be more than aesthetic. It will alter your abilities, open and close paths, and completely change how you play. The line between redemption and destruction will never be so thin. The visuals promise to showcase the full potential of the new generation, with dense environments, a heavy atmosphere, and creatures that seem to have stepped out of a gothic nightmare. The gameplay will offer freedom of movement, strategic combat, and possibilities that shape around the type of creature you decide to be. The Blood of Dawnwalker won't just be another dark RPG. It will be a personal story of vengeance, sacrifice, and transformation, told in a world where time is running out. In second place, Ninja Gaiden 4 will mark the explosive return of one of the most intense and respected action franchises in gaming. After over a decade of silence, the new title will be a direct continuation, designed to reignite everything that made the series legendary: speed, precision, and a challenge for the sharpest reflexes. The game has been in development for years, with extreme attention to detail, and promises to bring back visceral combat with a technical level tailored to the new generation. The game will correct past missteps and deliver what fans have always expected: no compromises. The action will be bloody, stylized, and the gameplay will maintain the relentless pace that spares no mistakes. The presence of a new ally alongside the protagonist will add depth to the combat dynamic, while the plot will dive into dark conspiracies, personal battles, and ancient codes put to the test. The promise is clear: intensity from start to finish. The game will impress with environments full of personality, refined animations, and effects that highlight every strike with cinematic brutality. The soundtrack, always present, will accompany the fast-paced rhythm of the fights and the twists in the plot. Ninja Gaiden 4 won't just revive a franchise. It will prove that action can still be brutal, demanding, and incredibly stylish. After all these years, the return promises to be memorable. In third place, Turok Origins promises to bring back one of the most iconic franchises of the 90s, now revamped for the new generation with an ambitious proposal. The new title will put you back in the shoes of a warrior tasked with facing wild dinosaurs and a deadly alien threat that puts all of humanity at risk. This time, though, technology and genetic powers will take combat to a whole new level, turning each confrontation into an evolutionary battle. The game will focus on intense action, with options for solo or team combat, moving through varied biomes like dense forests, swamps, caves, and aerial regions. The gameplay will mix futuristic firearms, such as plasma rifles, lasers, and snipers, with hand-to-hand combat skills, requiring quick reflexes and strategic use of the environment. The highlight, however, will be the DNA extraction system. Collecting genetic material from enemies and the environment will unlock new abilities and transform your suit's appearance in real time. Exploration will also be a core part of the gameplay, with each planet revealing pieces of history and unique environments, from ancient temples to forgotten canyons. All of this promises cutting-edge graphics, fluid mechanics, and a constant sense of urgency. Turok Origins will be more than just a nostalgic reboot. It will be a total reinvention, designed to show that classics can indeed rise again with full force when they bring innovation, challenge, and personality. And this time, the enemy won't just be Jurassic, it'll be alien too. In fourth place, Den of Wolves will present a dystopian future where megacorporations have taken global control and industrial espionage will become the world's most profitable and dangerous battlefield. Set in 2097, the game will put you at the heart of clandestine operations in Midway, a city independent of regulation, fueled by neurosystems, and protected from the reach of the dominant artificial intelligence. Each mission will be more than an operation. It will be a game of influence, power, and survival in a system dominated by capital. The focus will be on high-tech heists, biohacking, and strategic kidnappings, all executed by teams of up to 4 players. The adventure will be built around the balance between stealth and action, with the freedom to shape each approach. There will be room for silent infiltrations, intense shootouts, and digital manipulations that can change the game in seconds. Inspired by works like Ghost in the Shell and Black Mirror, the game's universe will offer a dense and provocative narrative, full of moral dilemmas and political tensions. Den of Wolves promises a cyberpunk setting rich in detail, with bizarre technologies, experimental weapons, and neural interfaces that will change how you interact with the world. Every environment will be designed with full immersion in mind, inviting you to explore, plan, and act with precision. In a market where war will be fought in servers and neon-lit alleys, this will be the game where your skill will be your most valuable resource, and failure will come at too high a cost. In fifth place, The Witcher 4 will mark the beginning of a new trilogy set in a wild and unexplored land to the north of the known kingdoms. The world will be vast, dark, and full of intrigue, offering an entirely new journey for fans of the saga. The game will mark CD Projekt's return to the universe that made them famous, focusing on dense narrative and decisions that truly matter. The setting will be more ritualistic, with a darker, more mystical tone. A new protagonist will take center stage, paving the way for a fresh start. The gameplay will introduce new mechanics, including a more agile combat system with a focus on magic and mobility. Player choices will directly influence the development of skills, with multiple fighting styles available. The map will be comparable to the previous game, but with more life, reactivity, and a variety of dynamic events. New creatures and Witcher schools never explored before will be present. The promise is of a more personalized and immersive journey. Iconic mini-games like Gwent will return, enhanced and integrated into the world more naturally. The story will be filled with political tension, historical rivalries, and moral dilemmas, with branching narratives. Developed in Unreal Engine 5, the game will feature stunning graphics and a world detailed down to the smallest aspects. The atmosphere, lighting, and dynamic soundtrack promise a deep immersion. The Witcher 4 won't just continue a franchise, it will begin a new era. In sixth place, State of Decay 3 will be the largest and most ambitious chapter in the franchise so far. With a development team more than doubled and direct support from studios like the Coalition and Obsidian, the game is set to take open-world survival to a new level. The promise is a denser universe, with deep character interactions and dynamic systems that react to the player's behavior. Tension will be constant, and every decision could make the difference between keeping the community alive or watching it crumble. The setting will focus on strong environmental narratives and moments of pure urgency, where scarcity, betrayal, and moral dilemmas will be part of daily life. The feeling of vulnerability will be heightened, with more dangerous infected, dynamic weather, and improved exploration mechanics. There will be more emphasis on base management, human relationships, and group strategy building. Surviving will no longer be just about gathering resources. It will be about understanding how to maintain sanity and hope in the face of collapse. Graphically, State of Decay 3 will be built with far more resources than its predecessors, and the new generation seems to promise a significant leap in quality. Visual effects, lighting, and physics will be used to create a more believable and threatening world. Despite the evolution, the essence of the series will be preserved. Small stories in the midst of a giant crisis, where every character matters. The wait will be long, but returning to the zombie apocalypse seems like it will be worth every second. In seventh place, Chrono Odyssey will be one of the most promising MMORPGs of the new generation, combining absurdly realistic graphics with a combat system centered around manipulating time. Set in the mutable world of Cetera, the game will place you in a setting that changes with the seasons and reacts to the world's rhythm. But what will truly set this journey apart is the power to control time. Stopping, reversing and rewinding events to turn difficult battles into epic victories. Right from the start, you'll be able to choose from 6 distinct classes and customize your character with visual and combat-style details. The battle system will require mastery of timing, dodging, real-time weapon swapping, and constant reading of enemy movements. Each confrontation will bring unpredictable patterns, requiring both quick reflexes and strategy. But the true differentiator will be the Chronotector, the tool that allows you to alter events during combat, adding a unique layer of tactics and surprise. Solo or alongside other players, you'll face massive creatures, compete for territory between factions, and join clans to tackle colossal bosses. Collaboration will be essential, and each group mission will depend on trust, synchronization, and skill mastery. Chrono Odyssey won't just be about combat or graphical beauty. It will be about living out epic adventures with real freedom and impact. All of this running on the power of Unreal Engine 5, on a scale that promises to redefine the genre. In 8th place, Project Robot looks set to be the next masterpiece from a creator who has already redefined the concept of scale and melancholy in games. The teaser revealed a solitary protagonist in futuristic gear, climbing a colossal creature in the midst of an immense and silent landscape. This time, the creature won't be made of stone or flesh, but metal, a mecha. In the background, a black storm looms, and the tension builds with not a single word. Mystery will be the tone guiding every step of this new journey. The visual elements already evoke the same identity from the creator's previous games: vastness, isolation, and a melancholic aura that follows every movement. But this time, it seems that technology will play a larger role, perhaps even symbolically. The character's entrance into the robot's head and their escape minutes before a destructive force hits suggests more than just survival. Perhaps a sacrifice, perhaps the beginning of something greater. The narrative will be subtle, told more through the environment than direct dialogue. The minimalist style, subtle music, and monumental scale promise an emotional adventure, where silence will speak louder than any action scene. Project Robot won't just be another game with giant creatures. It will explore themes like the end of the world, identity, and perhaps even continuity between universes. For those who felt something different while playing Shadow of the Colossus, this will be a new chance to relive that sensation. But now, with machines instead of myths. In 9th place, the Bornless will be one of the most intense and disturbing experiences the FPS genre has ever seen. With a Lovecraftian setting and gameplay that mixes PvP, the game will place you on an island dominated by dense forests, demonic rituals, and nameless entities. Each match will start with tension and end in pure despair as the balance between survival, combat, and occultism begins to unravel. The atmosphere will be suffocating, not only due to the dark visuals, but because of the constant risk of being hunted by other players, or something far worse. The core of the gameplay will be the ritual mode, divided into 3 phases that turn tactical action into a race against time. Starting with exploration, then performing rituals, and finally unleashing true cosmic horror on the map will completely change the dynamics of each match. Players will have the freedom to decide whether they want to survive, extract, hunt, or summon. This will make each session unique, unpredictable, and full of strategic decisions. And while encounters with other players will already be brutal, battles with supernatural entities will take the tension to an almost unbearable level. Long-term progression will be marked by customizable safe houses, faction alliances, and a system that gives weight to victories and defeats beyond the match. The challenge will be high, especially for newcomers to the genre, but the reward will come in the form of a game that truly demands mastery of multiple systems at once. The Bornless goes beyond cheap scares. It will deliver a psychological war set to the pace of gunfire, where the real monsters won't always be the most obvious ones. In 10th place, Cronos. The New Dawn promises to be one of the craziest horror games in recent years, blending sci-fi, body horror, and time travel into one experience. The setting will be a devastated future, where you'll play as a traveler working for an enigmatic organization, tasked with finding missing people in the midst of ruins and time fractures. These fractures will take you back to 1980s Poland, in the midst of a retro-futuristic era, where the past and future collide in a sinister way. The gameplay will be inspired by classics like Resident Evil and Dead Space, with tense exploration, resource management, and enemies that don't stay dead for long, unless burned. The abominations will appear as grotesque fusions of humanity and technology, requiring strategy, precision, and a cold mind. Combat will take place in tight hallways and open rooms, with a varied arsenal that includes pistols, machine guns, and grenade launchers. Every choice will directly influence your chance of surviving the horrors lurking. The game will focus on the contrast between industrial brutalism and dark, detailed environments. The atmosphere will be reinforced by oppressive sound design and mechanics that make each encounter unpredictable. Cronos, the New Dawn, won't just be a jump-scare game. It will be a dive into a world where time has crumbled, humanity has deformed, and survival depends as much on reason as on instinct. All of this is set to arrive in 2025 to show that true terror can still surprise. In 11th place, Intergalactic, the Heretic prophet promises to be a bold shift in Naughty Dog's career, diving deep into themes such as faith, loneliness, and identity in an alternate sci-fi universe. Set on the planet Siberia, isolated for over 6 centuries, the game will leave you completely alone, exploring silent ruins and facing mysteries left by a vanished civilization. The absence of any company will be part of the design, turning isolation into an essential narrative mechanic. The setting will feature a brutalist and retro-futuristic visual style, where cultural references from the 80s coexist with advanced space technology. The game structure will alternate between introspective moments and intense action sections with swords and biomechanical creatures, revealing a deeper combat system than anything the studio has done before. The journey will be solitary but emotionally charged, exploring themes beyond survival, such as faith, institutional breakdown, and the weight of personal choices in a decaying universe. The soundtrack will feature industrial rock musicians and licensed tracks that enhance the strange and contemplative mood of the narrative. The journey promises to be deeply emotional, in an alternate universe where humanity evolved in an unexpected way. Intergalactic, the Heretic prophet will be more than just traditional sci-fi. It will be an existential dive into a world where faith has faded and silence has become deafening. In 12th place, Jurassic Park, survival will electrify the return to Isla Nublar, this time from a new perspective, the day after the chaos. For the first time, you'll be able to explore the wreckage left behind after the dinosaurs escape, walking through abandoned vehicles, destroyed structures, and traces of what remained from the events of the first movie. The focus will be on pure survival, emphasizing stealth, logic, and exploration as you try to escape from the predators that dominate the island. The setting will bring iconic locations from the franchise, along with entirely new areas, like the visitors' dormitories and facilities never before seen in films, comics, or past games. This blend of familiarity and novelty will give the game a unique identity. The environments will be full of details that reinforce the sense of abandonment and constant danger. The lack of weapons or special abilities will require intelligence. Noise will be your greatest enemy, and escaping will demand improvisation and attention at every step. The gameplay will be in first person, placing tension at the heart of the experience. You won't fight the dinosaurs, you'll survive them. The realistic graphics, combined with sound design, will create total immersion, turning every encounter with a velociraptor or T-Rex into a sequence of pure panic. Jurassic Park, survival promises to deliver a suspense and escape experience where every dark corridor and rustling bush could be the start of a new Jurassic nightmare. In 13th place, SAROS will be Housemarque's next big leap after the success of Returnal. This time, the journey takes place in Carcosa, an off-Earth colony engulfed in an eternal eclipse that alters everything around it. Playing as an agent tasked with uncovering the secrets of this world and confronting forces that defy sanity, players will face choices that repeat, deaths that are not the end, and cycles that seem impossible to escape. The narrative will be tense, with the protagonist driven by a personal mission and an obsession with breaking the cycle. The world will respond organically to actions, and with each return, new possibilities will emerge. Progression will be designed to maintain the weight of defeats, but also the value of victories. Each advance will unlock previously inaccessible paths, while permanent weapons and abilities will transform how players face the following challenges. SAROS will stand out with its art direction, rich in symbolism, accompanied by an intense soundtrack that will accentuate the constant tension. Housemarque promises to extract the most from the PS5 and PS5 Pro, delivering environments that breathe and distort as the eclipse influences the world. This new project has everything to solidify the studio as one of the great names in sci-fi games, combining relentless action with deep thematic elements in a single title. In 14th place, Project Awakening remains alive as one of the most anticipated action RPGs of the past few years. Initially presented as an epic medieval fantasy, the game remains shrouded in mystery, but expectations remain incredibly high. The lack of updates led to speculations about cancellation, but the studio has confirmed the project is in full development. The goal is to deliver a vast world, with giant creatures and intense real-time combat. The few scenes revealed so far show battles against colossal monsters, with the protagonist facing them using melee weapons and quick movements. The game will follow a more tactical approach, with precise dodges, counterattacks, and a more elaborate progression system. The design of creatures and the scale of the battles are reminiscent of the best references in the genre, and everything indicates that combat will be the core of the experience, with strategic depth and impactful visuals. The world of Project Awakening will blend classic narrative with free exploration, in a setting that mixes dark fantasy with subtle technology. The promise is of a living universe that will respond to the player's actions, with a large-scale open-world system. The expectation is that the game will position itself among the greatest action and RPG titles of the generation, offering not only a return to traditional themes, but also a new vision of how the genre can evolve. In 15th place, the Duskbloods will be From Software's boldest entry into a new Gothic universe, this time as a Switch 2 exclusive. The game will be set in a world dominated by cursed figures and bloody powers, where warriors with superhuman abilities will face off in visceral combat. With more than 12 playable characters, each with unique styles and mechanics, the proposal will mix intense action with an impressive variety of tactical and visual possibilities. The gameplay will focus on fluidity, with highlights for movements like double jumps, agile runs, and ranged attacks. Each character, called Bloodsworn, will bring their own combination of melee and ranged weapons, along with specific abilities. The PvPv structure will allow up to 8 players in matches, where direct confrontation, exploration, and battling monstrous entities will coexist in the same battlefield. The action will be continuous, and the pace frantic, without sacrificing the complexity of the encounters. The visual style is expected to retain the dark identity that made the studio famous, now adapted to the new hardware of the Nintendo console. The maps will likely feature verticality and mystery, with memorable confrontations and settings evoking the decay of a civilization consumed by blood rituals. The Duskbloods will mark a new step for the studio, combining the refinement of its roots with the boldness of exploring cooperative formats. In 2026, the Switch 2 will gain an exclusive that promises to leave scars. In 16th place, The War of the Worlds, Siberia will reinvent a sci-fi classic in a frozen and oppressive late 19th century setting. The alien invasion will be retold from the perspective of survivors trying to escape Petrograd amid the collapse of the Russian Empire. In a desperate journey eastward, the game will pit you against extraterrestrial machines and the brutal limitations of the time, in a world where snow, steel, and fear blend with every step. The gameplay will be third-person, combining action, stealth, and puzzle solving. The pace will be tense, with intense chases, ambushes, and quick decisions. Exploration will be essential, both to find supplies and to decipher paths through the war-torn fields and frozen villages. Each mission will be a test of creativity, caution, and endurance. The setting promises to be one of the main attractions, featuring snow-covered forests, ruined cities, and alien bases hidden within human fortresses. The music and sound design will emphasize the constant feeling of helplessness in the face of the threat. The War of the Worlds, Siberia will not just be about action. It will be a survival journey, where the alternative history will intertwine with a tension-filled atmosphere. The apocalypse will arrive in the Russian winter, and escaping it won't be easy. In 17th place, Where Winds Meet will be a love letter to classic martial arts, crafted as an open-world RPG set during one of the most turbulent periods in Chinese history. The proposal is to lead you on an epic journey through the era of the 5 dynasties and 10 kingdoms, where a young sword master sets off in search of identity, honor, and purpose. The 20 square kilometers map will be dense, promising over 150 hours of content and a historical and cultural richness rarely seen in other titles of the genre. The combat system will be fully inspired by wuxia, with graceful movements, refined techniques, and a huge variety of weapons. Spears, swords, double blades, umbrellas, and even fans will be at your disposal, each with its own skill tree. The fluidity of hand-to-hand combat will be combined with acrobatic moves and unique martial arts techniques like Tai Chi and acupuncture strikes, allowing you to create a truly personal fighting style. The setting will be visually stunning, with peaceful fields, vibrant cities, treacherous mountains, and hidden caves, all created with impressive detail. In addition to the main campaign, there will be multiplayer content and planned DLCs, further expanding the journey. Where Winds Meet won't just aim to charm with its visuals or scale, but with how it will turn martial arts philosophy into something you can live, explore, and feel in every fight and decision. In 18th place, Onimusha, Way of the Sword will mark the triumphant return of one of Capcom's most beloved franchises, bringing back the perfect union of samurai and supernatural forces. After nearly 2 decades of silence, the series returns with a new protagonist equipped with a magical gauntlet capable of absorbing spirits and turning them into power during combat. The setting will be dark and mystical, with Edo period Japan dominated by monstrous creatures and clouds of miasma covering the streets of Kyoto. The gameplay will focus on precision, emphasizing quick executions, parries, and a technical combat system where every movement counts. The sword will be the direct extension of the character, requiring sharp reflexes and mastery of martial skills to survive brutal battles against colossal bosses and corrupted hordes. Capcom promises to abandon the old fixed camera model, replacing it with a more dynamic approach while maintaining the tactical pace that defined the original series. The new chapter will also feature a heavy atmosphere, with decadent settings and a soundtrack that will intensify the tension of exploration and combat moments. Modern visual elements will be combined with classic references, creating a balance between tradition and innovation. Onimusha, Way of the Sword will not just be a nostalgic return. It will be a new era for the franchise, darker, more intense, and fully adapted to the demands of a new generation. In 19th place, Metal Gear Solid Delta. Snake Eater will come to retell one of the most iconic chapters in video game history, with a technical level that impresses from the first frame. Rebuilt in Unreal Engine 5, the remake will feature dense jungles, forests, and swamps with a level of detail that transforms every corner of the map into a living landscape. The feeling of being isolated in the wild will be reinforced by real-time lighting and physics systems that bring the environment to life. The gameplay style will remain faithful to the original, with a total focus on stealth, survival, and planning. The proposal is to immerse you in a tense military operation, where every wrong step could compromise the objective. Classic modes like Snake vs. Monkey will return, pleasing nostalgic fans. Metal Gear Solid Delta will not only be a tribute to the original, but a powerful reinterpretation of a game that marked generations, maintaining its essence intact while offering all the technical refinement that current consoles can provide. In 20th place, Mafia, the old country will abandon the open world in favor of a carefully crafted linear narrative set in early 20th century Sicily. Instead of exploring a vibrant city full of side activities, the journey will take you through narrow village streets, farmland, and alleys dominated by the tension of a society governed by honor and revenge. The more contained structure will allow the story to unfold with intensity, focusing entirely on the moral and family dilemmas that define mob life. The combat will be direct and brutal, using period-appropriate weapons such as stilettos, rudimentary shotguns, and mounted horseback confrontations. The game will recreate the rise of the Mafia with authenticity, diving into a culture where promise is worth more than any contract, and betrayal could mean certain death. Ascending within the organization will be marked by losses, sacrifices, and the weight of spilled blood. The game is set to impress with a faithful portrayal of ancient Sicily, exploring detailed environments that bring the era to life. From sulfur mines to silent alleys, each corner will tell part of this intense story. The old country will focus on the strength of the narrative, proving that you don't need total freedom to create something memorable. The promise is a focused, raw, and impactful journey, the kind of story you won't easily forget. So, tell me, what did you think of these games? What are your expectations? Which one do you want to play? And which do you think will be a huge flop? If you can, please subscribe to the channel to help me grow and never be in doubt about what to play. I'm leaving 2 videos on the card. One I selected for you and another that YouTube chose. Just click on either one to watch. A big hug, enjoy the game, and see you tomorrow.